Hey YouTube. So, Mad Men came on last night. Mad Men was very interesting, a little disturbing, a little all over the place. Actually, they had a lot of characters in this episode covered, and I don't know. It was a good episode. I'm not going to take anything away from it, but it just felt a little bit weird. I mean, like I said, last week was the episode where they were basically just in the office the whole time. And this episode just seemed to go everywhere, you know. So it was just a little bit like, woo. But some interesting shit happened, so let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with Betty. Because Betty is going to ruin her good thing. That Henry Francis is still so handsome. I don't know what it is about him, but he's just so handsome to me. And basically, they were having some sort of mingle, meet and greet type thing, I guess, you know, for his political leanings or whatever. He had to do a little bit of networking. So, first of all, she's hosting this, you know, meet and greet, mingling type thing at their house. And she says something about, you know, the war that's going on and President Nixon and, you know, Henry Francis has one stance, and I guess Betty has another one, and you know, I guess she shouldn't have given her opinion to, you know, political figures or whatever. So he got mad, she got mad. Okay, apparently she made him go to the rest of the functions that night all by himself. He got pissed. He came home, and she's just, I don't know, this unhappy biatch who just wants to bring everybody down now with her. You know what I mean? Misery loves company. So I don't really understand her anymore. Okay. I guess she feels like she's controlled, or I guess she feels like she's unhappy in her housewife role, or I don't know what it is, but they're making me not like Betty, and that's hard to do because I really like Betty. So I don't get where that's going. Anybody have any ideas? So Lou does comic strips in his free time. Stan happened to find one on the copy machine, and it became this big joke, and they were making fun of him and all this stuff. And then they went to this meeting, and Lou knew about it, and he was pissed about it. That, you know, they were mocking him and everything. And, you know, he made just everybody stay later or whatever to work on the Burger Chef account, right? So I guess that ended up being a small thing because things were kind of interweaved, and I kind of want to keep the arcs of each character in my recaps. So that was a small thing. But we'll just talk about that team because, you know, Peggy is heading up the Burger Chef team, and Stan and Ginsberg are on the account. So Ginsberg really has an aversion to this computer that's right outside his office. He hates the humming noise. He can't take it. At one point on the Saturday, he's trying to work in there all by himself, and he sees Jim Cutler and Lou talking amongst themselves, and he's paranoid. Ginsberg is paranoid. He's going crazy. So he goes over to Peggy's place. He asks her basically if he could work there because he can't concentrate in the office. He's telling her that, you know, he's figured it out. This computer is turning people gay. He tells her about Jim and Lou talking in there, and he thinks that they're homos somehow, that they're talking about homo shit. He's saying that the computer is giving him homosexual feelings, that he got excited looking at Stan's shoulders, and he thinks the solution is that him and Peggy have to reproduce because the, you know, computer is turning everybody gay. So, you know, he kisses her. This is in the morning, or not necessarily the morning, I don't think, but basically she's asleep on her couch and he is all up on her and he tries to kiss her, and she, you know, she likes Ginsburg. She has a respect for him, and I think she feels a little bit motherly, I want to say, towards him. So she's not a total bitch. She's just kind of like, you know, you have to leave now. So the next day, or that Monday, when they come back in, Ginsburg comes into Peggy's office and he's like, you know what, I feel so much better now. I've found a way to release all the negative energy that the computer is giving me and everything, and here's a little gift for you. He hands her this little gift that looks like a jewelry box, and it's his nipple. He cut off his nipple, and he thinks that that is what is, you know, going to help him as far as dealing with the computer. So Peggy, and I forget the name of the actress, but she played this so well, I thought, because her reaction was really like, I'm scared, I'm shocked, I'm grossed out, but I also am concerned for Ginsburg, because Ginsburg is, you know, my colleague, my friend. I, you know, have respect for him, and I don't want to see anything really bad happen to him. Anyway, let's get to Dawn and Megan and Stephanie. Now, you guys know the history with Don Draper, or Dick, whatever his real name is, and how, you know, he swapped the identity of one of his old army mates, and he went to go find that army mate's wife, and that army mate's wife understood that he needed to use the identity, and, you know, they became friends, and that wife has a daughter, I believe. Stephanie is a daughter, right? Anyway, you know, they are all close. They all love each other. All three of them. Dawn, the lady, and Stephanie, the daughter. So the daughter calls just unexpectedly. She's pregnant. She's in LA, and, you know, she's talking to Dawn. She's just like, I need some help, and you're in LA, right? So he tells her to contact Megan. Megan will take care of you. Megan will put you up, and then I'll be out there the next day. Because of Lou being pissed and making everybody stay, he can't get out there until the next morning. So she, you know, gets to LA. She gets to Megan's place, and Megan is nice to her, but Megan also seems to have this something in the back of her head that's saying, like, don't trust this chick, or I don't know, there might be a little bit of resentment because Don put so much more importance on this girl, Stephanie, and coming out to LA for her, and doesn't do the same for Megan. Whatever, she hides it well. But there was something that happened where I missed it. Megan said something, and all of a sudden, all I know is that she's writing the girl a check for $1,000, and the girl leaves. First of all, before I even get into the rest of it, I was very, very, very disappointed in Megan when she accepted to offer this girl some solace. You know what I mean? Last time we saw Don and Megan, they were not in a good place. You know what I mean? She told him to get out, and she didn't tell him she loved him, and I thought this was going to be the end of that marriage. But just the way that she was so sure, you know, whatever, made me just really lose a little bit of respect for her, because you're still in love with this guy that treats you like shit. How many times does he have to treat you like shit for you to realize that you need to leave him? And this is the late 60s, honey. It's not like divorce was this unheard of thing, okay? I just don't get it. I don't understand. What is Don offering her at this point that she can't do without? I don't understand. Don comes and he's a little upset that Stephanie has left. Yeah, he really wanted to see her, and Megan can tell, but Megan is hosting a party that she had already planned for her acting class, and they're gonna do that. So they're at the party, and Don is acting just like, ugh, why am I here? And he's just looking at everybody like, typical Don shit. Okay, Harry Crane ends up coming to the party. His wife was invited, and he didn't know that it was Megan, and he definitely didn't know that Don was going to be there. So when Don sees him, Don immediately wants to ditch the party, and he's like, Harry, you want to go grab a drink? Pisses Megan off a little bit, I'm sure. But basically, him and Harry go and have a drink, and they're talking shop. They're talking work. And basically, what Harry leaks out, you guys, I don't really know all these details, all the technical details about these advertising deals, but basically what he's saying is that Jim and Lou have been working on getting this account with the cigarette company, and how, I guess once they get the account with the cigarette company, they probably won't need Don. Maybe they'll get enough money so that they could buy him out. Like, that was a concern a couple weeks ago. So I think that was part of the plot. And, Harry Crane gives him details about it. He's like, don't make me regret telling you this. So, Don takes it all in stride. He gets home. He wants to go to sleep. But Megan and her little ginger friend are still there. And long story short, they have a threesome, okay? Don has acted so cavalier and just like, acting like people around him in LA don't mean anything, that they don't exist, that he's above everybody. But the moment she throws him sex, he's all for it. That's when he starts smiling, you know what I mean? So anyway, they have the threesome. The next morning, the girl calls and they talk, it's all good. And he's like, I gotta go. I'm sorry, Megan, I gotta go. And you see the disappointment on her face, but at that point, I'm not sorry for her, because you shouldn't have let him come back. I'm just saying. Anyway, he leaves. He goes back to New York. He interrupts the meeting that Lou and Jim are having with the cigarette company. And again, it's hard for me to get into the details of the actual thing, but basically, how I took it was, fuck our campaigns and fuck, what we can do for your actual company. Don't you want to have bragging rights over your competitors? And you guys remember, I think it was first season or second season, when they did that whole sort of anti-smoking ad that, really pissed a lot of people off. Yeah, that was a concern for that cigarette company, to have Don on the team, because it feels like, you sold out cigarettes all those years ago, and yeah, we don't want to be associated with anybody that's not loyal. And Don is basically saying, well, your competitors will see that you kind of tamed me or whatever, I'm your bitch, basically. And, that'll look good for your competitors. So he comes in, he leaves, and, once the meeting is over, Lou comes out and he does say, you're incredible. And Jim says, you think this is going to save you, don't you? And drives off. So at this point, Don has saved himself a little bit. We'll see to what extent, but I don't know. Did I do a good job with this recap? I don't think so. It was a lot that happened, and I almost wanted to watch the encore afterwards just to get a little bit more clarity, but I didn't. So this is what we got. I did notes this time. I think I covered everything in my notes, so that's it. 2 more episodes, guys. I'm a little bit disappointed that it was only 7 episodes this season. I knew that was going to happen. I looked it up, but it just feels like I've been cheated this season. And I'm going to be sad to see it go and have to wait another, 6 months for episodes. But I'm also kind of happy that I don't have to recap it again, because these recaps are getting so much other stuff that I need to do. But I enjoy doing them. I'm going to stick to them for this part of the season. And like this video, comment, share the video, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you next week. 2 more episodes.